Hello everybody, welcome back. It's Lazy Leprechaun here. Today we're going over the Steam Winter Sale, games over $20. First up on the list, we have Elden Ring. It's the 2022 Game of the Year. It also won Best RPG and Best Art Direction. It is a From Software game, so you know it's going to be difficult. A close friend of mine has said that it is easier than some of the Dark Souls games, but it still packs a punch. It has a beautiful open world setting. The lighting in this game is some of the best I've ever seen. It also has a multiplayer and PvP aspect to it if you're into that. I would definitely pick it up for $41.99. Alright, next up on the list we have a Plague Tale Requiem. It's a direct sequel to A Plague Tale Innocence that I covered in one of my earlier videos. This has an incredible emotional story to it. It has revamped combat. It's still stealth combat, but it's a lot smoother now. And it has some decent environmental puzzles to it to get by the rat hordes. For $37.49, it's well worth picking up. Alright, next game on the list is Age of Empires 4 Anniversary Edition. I've grown a little bit of an unhealthy bond with this game now. The last Age of Empires I played was Age of Empires 2. I covered that in my Games Under $5 video. This one feels a lot like AoE 2, just with hugely revamped graphics. You get 10 different civilizations to pick from. The campaigns in this game hold a lot of historical value to them. One of the first campaign missions you're going to do is the Battle of Hastings, and it gives you a whole background on how that battle took place, and then you play through that battle. And it's really interesting. If you're a history buff, definitely a game to pick up. This also has mod support built into the game, and this did win Best Strategy Game of 2021. For $23.99, highly recommend picking this up. It's a ton of fun. Next game up on the list, we have Tunic. Tunic has a very cute art style, low poly art style, but don't let the cuteness fool you. This is a pretty difficult game. It's if the old Legend of Zeldas and a Souls-like game had a child, it would be Tunic. One of the better aspects, I think, with Tunic is under the accessibilities options, you can turn off the stamina meter, or you can turn on a God mode, something I've wished Dark Souls would have done. I myself am horrible with Souls-like games, but this game is very well designed. All the little pieces look okay when you take them apart, but when you put them together into this game, it makes for this beautiful experience. For $26.99, I highly recommend picking this one up. Next up, we have Tales of Arise. This was a game that I played a lot of this year, and I got sucked right into it. The story in this game actually had me in tears a couple of times. They really pull at the heartstrings. The combat is smooth and responsive, and there's a ton of different combos that you can pull off, assigning arts to each of your characters. You can customize the combat basically in however you want, and you can play any character during the combat. You're not locked to just the one guy. The environments and art style is absolutely beautiful. When I played this game, it was on the PS4. Seeing it on PC, it is absolutely gorgeous, and I highly recommend. For $23.99, you will not be disappointed as a JRPG fan picking up this game. Next up on the list, we have Stray, aka the cat game. This won Debut Indie and Best Indie Game of 2022, so you know it's got to be worth it. It takes place in a post-apocalyptic cyberpunk setting, and you play as a cat going through this world. It has a lot of adventure to it, and a lot of stealth content, or if you have to go like run from enemies and whatnot. There's no direct combat in the game. It's more you staying away from it. And I'm just going to say this, for $23.99, you're also getting a meow button as well. that you can just meow on command. It's well worth picking up. Next game on the list, we have Yakuza Like a Dragon, coming in at $20.99. Takes place in a beautiful Japanese city. It has turn-based combat this time instead of a more action-focused combat. And your characters have kind of a class system or like a job system that you can pick through. And in most Yakuza games, or in classic Yakuza fashion, it has a ton of mini games to it. You're talking dozens of mini games. You could spend over 100 hours in this game, and for $20.99, you won't be disappointed. All right, next game up on the list, we have Final Fantasy XII: The Zodiac Age. Releasing a while ago, they've recently released the Zodiac Age on PC. The Zodiac Age has a new orchestral background music to it, or you can set it to like the original soundtrack or the remastered soundtrack. It runs at a higher resolution now, 60 frames a second, has 21:9 ultra wide monitor support. Its combat is action with pause, so you can set up different moves, kind of similar to something of like Dragon Age Origins. It has an improved gambit system, which we all know and love, where you basically make an AI play half the game for you, and if you can set up the gambit system right, you can pretty much make the AI auto-play this game for you. For $24.99, I highly recommend this one as well. Alright, next up, we have my 2021 racing game of the year, Forza Horizon 5. Coming in at $38.99 for the standard edition. Forza Horizon 5 this time takes place in a Mexican setting, and the map is absolutely beautiful. Once I got my 6600, the reflections, the landscape, everything looks insanely gorgeous. They did a great job designing this map. It's got a lot of fun side stories in it too. There's things like Drift Club and the test drive story. That's actually a lot of fun. 5 months ago, they released a Hot Wheels DLC for it. I haven't played the DLC yet, but I've heard good things about it. Scrolling down here, we see here that the Hot Wheels DLC is actually on sale for $15.99. So if you do have the base game, that's worth picking up. Next up, we have Sonic Frontiers, just releasing about a month and a half ago. Sonic Frontiers, by most and by myself, is referred to as the best 3D Sonic game made. It's got high flying action and a great sense of speed. You really feel like Sonic's hitting that like Mach 1 speed as you're flying around. The combat sections are actually pretty good on this. The graphics, again, are pretty good. Being that it released this year, there's not a lot of games that don't have good graphical fidelity that were released this year. So Sonic Frontiers not only plays good, but it looks good. And there are some actually pretty fun platforming sections in this game as well. It's on sale right now for $41.99. Being 30% off a month and a half after release, this is definitely worth picking up. Next up on the list, we have, well, let me scroll to the top, sorry about that, Cyberpunk 2077. Now, I know a lot of you have seen Cyberpunk 2077 at launch, and it was a huge disappointment. It was a dumpster fire of a video game. Thankfully, CD Projekt Red has had the resources to actually fix their gigantic mistake, and this game now is absolutely great. It has an awesome story to it. It's got fun combat. It's got fun gunplay. You can use a sword as well, so swords are always fun in a first-person game. It has absolutely beautiful graphics. And like I said, the devs have fixed the majority of the big bugs. You might still find another small bug here and there, but the game is playable and the game is fantastic now. For $29.99, this is a perfect time to pick up this game. Next up on the list, we have God of War. So God of War came out a few years ago on the PlayStation to huge success. Now it's on PC. Kratos is taking on Norse mythology this time as he goes to take an item to a mountain peak with his son Atreus. It looks absolutely beautiful on PC. They really stepped it up with the graphics in this game for the PC release. It has an amazing story to it. The action combat is second to none, I would say. It is absolutely perfect. If you have not yet played this entry in the God of War series for $29.99, this is a great time to buy it. This is the lowest I've seen it. Next up on the list, we have Spider-Man Remastered. Another game that I played on the PS4 quite a bit. I haven't bought it on the PC yet. My backlog is about 30 games deep right now, so I'm trying to work through some of those. But the Spider-Man Remaster is a beautiful remaster of a great PlayStation game. It's got fun combat. It borrows from the Batman formula, so there's always a button to press. There's always a combo to do. You're tying guys up, or you have to counter, or you have to dodge. And the combat gets very expansive the more that you actually build up Spider-Man. It has a decent story overall. I wasn't completely hooked on the story, but it wasn't bad either. It was just kind of middle of the road. It's the gameplay, the action, the environment. That's what keeps you holding on in this game. It has a lot of fun boss battles as well. The ending boss, for me, was a little lackluster, but it's a fantastic game overall. I give it a 10 out of 10 if I was doing reviews. For $44.99, it's a good time to pick this up, and that's a good price to pick up this great remaster. Next up on the list, we have LEGO Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga. So this covers events of all 9 movies. I covered the other LEGO Star Wars game in my Game Under $5. This one adds in the 3 newest movies, that trilogy. And this game looks absolutely beautiful. For a LEGO game, I didn't think it should look this good. The environments are gorgeous. Even the little LEGO set pieces look really nice. It's got smooth gameplay to it. It's an extremely fun game. Again, like I said, it's LEGO. It's family friendly. It's fun. It's $24.99 right now, being half off. This is a great time to pick up this game. If you're a Star Wars fan at all, highly recommend getting this. So to go on another family-friendly game here, we have Disney Dreamlight Valley. This, I generally don't recommend early access games, but this game is so much fun. It's a blend of Stardew Valley, Harvest Moon, and Animal Crossing all kind of in one. And you have the Disney Pixar cast. You could do quests for them. You have to rebuild the city after this horrible event has happened. The graphics, even though they're cutesy graphics, it still looks really nice for a Disney game. And there's a ton of extra content. The game, as of right now in this recording, is not fully released yet and is not finished. But there is still a ton of content, even for it being early access, that you can enjoy for hours and hours on end. So at $22.49 for an early access game, and this game's going to explode when it comes out, I highly recommend picking this one up. So last up on the list, we have another personal favorite RPG of mine at Dragon Quest XI-S, Echoes of an Elusive Age, Definitive Edition. Coming in at $25.99. The art style is absolutely beautiful, and a secondary note to the art style, this one also has a 2D mode. So if you're into the old Dragon Warrior games or Dragon Quest games from back in the day, you could fit right in with the 2D mode in this game. It has a fantastic story to it, one of the best stories I've ever witnessed in an RPG. I would say yes, better than Tales of Arise, but not by a whole lot. It has memorable characters to it. There wasn't a single character that I didn't like. There was one that was okay. I mean, he was a little out there for me, but he was still a good character, a strong character to have. Just some of his dialogue was Not the greatest. It's got great turn-based combat to it. It's got a fantastic crafting system in it. If you haven't played Dragon Quest 11 yet for $25.99 to get the best version of it possible, it's well worth it. So there we go, guys. We got 16 games over $20 for the Steam Winter Sale. Pick one up. Let me know in the comments below what you're picking up during this sale. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys soon.